change, evolution, variation. In the ultra-competitive sport of stock car racing, it's what keeps the winners on top and the others chasing stardom. Since Junior Hanley of Campbellville, Ontario won his second consecutive GM Goodwrench Tour title last year, plenty has changed. Six-time champ Robbie Crouch and Oshawa's Randy McDonald, who came within a few numbers of dethroning Hanley, have both departed for other shores. And until the '93 Tour actually opened, Hanley himself was unsure of his plans. This left the field wide open, a chance for LePage, Layton, Zardo, Lynch, Dragon, Whitlock, and others to surge forward. But when the Tour began in Maine in April, Hanley was back, gunning for a natural hat trick. Not much has changed for Junior. He hasn't lost a step. He continues his winning ways. And that means the Tour regulars have to change and adjust yet again to rise to the Hanley challenge.
Welcome to Sauble Beach, Ontario, on the resort shore of Lake Huron. We're at Sauble Speedway for the running of the Sauble Beach 100. Hi again, everybody. I'm Eric Thomas, along with Dave Moody and John Massingbird, for the first of 5 Raceline telecasts on the GM Goodwrench Tour. And it's great to have the GM Goodwrench Tour folks on board for 1993. It's a glorious day. Where else would you go at Sauble Beach but to the beach where the water's fine, I think. David, it has been anything but fine for a number of these teams.
It's been a very tough weekend. This afternoon's Sauble Beach 100 is the second leg of a doubleheader for these GM Goodwrench Tour teams. 2 nights ago, they ran at the Flamborough Speedway, where early on in the race, 17 of the 24 cars were involved in a massive pileup. A couple of cars completely destroyed. There has been no sun and sand for these GM Goodwrench Tour teams in the last 2 days.
For the qualifying news, let's go to John Massingbird.
Nice legs.
Thanks.
Well, you guys have been down lollygagging on the beach. We've been here in the middle of the pack trying to figure out a very quick quarter-mile racetrack. Harmon Beaver Dragon, a 2-time Tour champion, starts in the middle. Beaver, what's it going to be this afternoon?
It's going to be a tough race because anytime you start on a small track like this is only a quarter-mile track, not a lot of room for error or nothing like this, and most of the passing is going to have to be done right in the corner, so it's going to be a tough afternoon, especially with this heat.
It is in the 85 to 90 degree range this afternoon. Beaver Dragon starting just right behind the man who was the 1985 Tour champion, Mike Whedon, in the A1 Landscaping and Tree Chevy Lumina. Mike, it's been a while since you'd run the Tour as a regular, but you were the Tour champion in '85. You've come out of the box pretty hot this year.
Yeah, the car's been running pretty good. This is a tight little racetrack, and I think we're going to have to fight tooth and nail for every little spot. I don't think you're going to see any holding back in this race.
Beaver Dragon says the passing's going to be done in the corner. Do you concur?
It'll be done on the bottom of the corner, probably coming off turn 2. I think you'll see most of you passing.
Well, as they've both said, it's going to be extremely tough. They're going to do the passing in the corners. When we return on Raceline, we're ready to go green with the Sauble Beach 100 and the GM Goodwrench Tour.
Raceline is brought to you by new Kodak Gold Ultra 400 film for all your Kodak moments. Your GM Goodwrench Service Plus dealers, where you get the finest quality work at competitive prices. Revell Monogram, the world's model maker. And Aerofoil Wiper Blades, the leading edge in wiper technology.
One half of the front row this afternoon at Sauble Speedway goes after the rookie honors in '93. Ricky Harrison out of Freeport, Maine, car number 85, and Matt Bazowski out of Hudson, New Hampshire, in the Matt's Auto Salvage Chevrolet car number 33.
Row number 2, the former CASCAR champion, Dave Whitlock of Petrolia, Ontario, the Motorcraft Ford, and Kip Stockwell, Randolph, Vermont, in the Napa Auto Parts Buick Regal.
Down to row number 3. Danny Noe Jr. out of Buffalo, New York, in the Thunderbird that Hanley campaigned last year. And another rookie hopeful for '93, Tracy Gordon out of Strong, Maine, in car number 17.
Tracy Gordon, currently the top rookie on the GM Goodwrench Tour. Here's the bulk of the field. Brad Layton and Bill Zardo Sr. hot off his first win of the year a couple of nights ago.
Mechanical problems for Donald Forte off the bat in car number 42 beside Derek Lynch. Down to row 6, LePage and Knowlton, Whedon and Beaver Dragon.
Racing Ralph Nason off to a strong start alongside Junior Hanley. No need to talk about his start as usual.
Row number 10, Pete Shepard out of Brampton, Ontario, normally cruised for Zardo Sr., but he's got the money to run here today.
Way back on the outside of row 11, Kim Wallace making his first start of 1993, but he is always a threat in the Flexmore Chevrolet.
Let's have a look at the standings coming into Sauble Speedway. Junior Hanley's won 3 of the first 5 shows on the GM Goodwrench Tour, and he leads the points. Ralph Nason running well this year in second place.
Nason and Beaver Dragon having a good back-and-forth battle for that second spot, both off to strong starts, but one fellow that's not off to a good start today is in the pits with John.
Well, as you can see, 3 or 4 teams under the hood of the number 42 Forte Isolon Racing Chevrolet. Don Forte's car has got some electrical problems. They had to change a coil, and you can see the guys from Ralph Nason's team, Bob Coyne, crew chief for Junior Hanley's in under the hood. A lot of guys trying to get Donald fired up and into the start of this Sauble Beach 100 race.
Bright sunny day, Dave Moody, temperatures in the 80s and climbing on a tight 1/4 mile asphalt, slightly banked oval out here. This is going to be a real test for the drivers. Cockpit temperatures already up over 100 degrees.
It is going to be a very difficult day. Long stretches of green flag racing won't be too bad because they get some air into the car, but under yellow, it's going to be a bear. Pace car is in, we're ready to go. Ricky Harrison on the inside, Matt Bosowski on the outside, field coming down looking for the green flag, and we're underway.
We are underway with the Sauble Beach 100. John Holbert turns him loose, and Ricky Harrison, car 85, leads him down the backstretch, and a great move by Whitlock, a little bit loose in the back end, and Kip Stockwell coming through the same hole.
Matt Bosowski, the outside pole sitter, with a tough start, going immediately backwards at the drop of the green flag, and on the point, Ricky Harrison, the Portsmouth Sheraton Oldsmobile from Freeport, Maine, last year's track champion at the Oxford Plains Speedway in Oxford, Maine, making a run for Rookie of the Year honors on the GM Goodwrench Tour, has not had a noteworthy early season so far, but this team is making progress, and he likes the idea of running at the front for a while here today.
Dave Whitlock out of Petrolia, winner of the Sportsman Award last year. Second to Kim Wallace in GM Goodwrench Tour rookie points last year. Gets a great start here, hanging in nice and tough for second place.
Well, it's nothing short of a miracle, Eric, that that 92 machine is even in today's field.
Very true.
He was badly damaged at Flamborough 2 nights ago, bent the frame on that automobile front and rear. The Motorcraft team has not been to bed for about 3 days. They've got the car tweaked into pretty good shape, judging from the way he runs right now. It's Harrison, Whitlock, and Danny Knoll Jr. at the front.
And that front trio pulling away just a little bit on the 16 of 19-year-old Kip Stockwell. And there's the 1X of Brad Layton and the 15 of Derek Lynch. And I guess right now the handling is just getting felt out here. They know they've got to run the car, Dave, a little bit loose, not too loose, but a push here is a disaster.
They know it's going to be a long day. Nobody interested in burning up the tires quite yet. If you're wondering where the big guys are, where's Junior Hanley, where's Ralph Nason, where's Beaver Dragon, well, they're coming. Under the GM Goodwrench Tour's handicap system, the high point, fast cars start further back in the field. It's a great advantage for youngsters like Danny Knoll Jr., Dave Whitlock, and Kip Stockwell, but you can bet Hanley and company are on their way.
Have a look there, Bill Zardo Sr., car number 46. He won his first tour event just 2 nights ago. Now the battle here with Beaver Dragon in the 75 and Kevin LePage in the 21.
A very strong move by LePage in the DF Windows machine. In qualifying, LePage, the Shelburne, Vermont driver, one of the few drivers that was able to work that outside line for any length of time with success.
Very, very quick off the start of the season. Beaver Dragon now trying to hold off the 17 of Tracy Gordon. He tries to get some ground gained here on Kevin LePage, who I think if you take away Randy McDonald and Robbie Krug since departed, was probably Junior Hanley's strongest competition race out last year.
Not much doubt about that, but the fellow right there, car number 10, the black Chevrolet for Ralph Nason, he and Beaver Dragon have hooked themselves up in a pretty good 2-man battle for second place, and as you can see, Dragon and Nason coming out of the rear together. Here's a challenge for the lead as they hit the back straight away.
Oh, Whitlock had a little punt up the back end there from the 6 of Danny Knoll, and the 85 of Ricky Harrison just hanging on here. Whitlock making a nice challenge, a peek on the inside of Harrison.
This is one of the nice things about the GM Goodwrench Tour's handicap system. It gives youngsters like this a chance to run out front, a chance to get some exposure, and every once in a while a chance to run away and beat the big guys who never get out of the back. We've got trouble. Rainey LaLumiere in the 38 machine, Lloyd Ritchie in the 62 have come together. One car pulling away, the other not. We'll see if we get a yellow.
Lloyd Ritchie out of Chippewa Hill, Ontario.
first start on the GM Goodwrench Tour, and it's not off to a marvelous start here as he's gone a couple of laps down in the infield. Ricky Harrison, Dave Whitlock, Danny Knoll Jr. continue to lead the pack, but young Kip Stockwell about to make it a four-man dance at the front.
He's just hanging back there, Dave, waiting for these three guys to mess up. Harrison doing a good job, but Whitlock and the Motorcraft 4 doing a great job. Now Richie pulls it onto the lower groove here. The cars swing wide to get around him.
You can see that the 85 of Ricky Harrison a little bit loose coming off the corners. The back end of the automobile slides wide, and Dave Whitlock, who, despite the fact that that car was literally torn in two a couple of nights ago, has the 92 machine right on the bottom looking for some daylight. Let's see if he can get it. Not this time.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of battle scars on the backside of the 92 of Whitlock as Danny Knoll Jr. out of Buffalo continues to get his toe into the back end of the patrolling Ontario Pilot. Looking on the inside, can he make the move? No, Harrison shuts the door again.
Dave Whitlock being very patient, and it's going to pay off now. He finally fights his way to the inside, and we've got a new leader. Dave Whitlock in the Motorcraft 92 out in front. Harrison drop kick back to second. Then Danny Knoll, Kip Stockwell, and on the move, the 1X of Bradley.
Yes, and here's Whitlock gets a chance to throw the other mouse in the wheel here. He's got a lot of running room out front. Now here goes Danny Knoll to try Harrison on the inside. I don't think there was a more improved driver on the Tour last year than David Whitlock in the second half. The crew really found out how this car runs, and a great job in the second half by David Whitlock.
Up to second now is Danny Knoll Jr. and struggling clearly Ricky Harrison in the 85.
Yeah.
Virtually every corner sees the back end of that Portsmouth Sheraton machine begin to wander just like that. And Kip Stockwell now is on the doorstep for the number 3 spot.
Kip Stockwell doing what he did so well last year in his freshman year, just stand back and wait for things to happen. Now he's going to take advantage of the handling and the traction problem in the very loose condition is being experienced now. Junior Hanley gets bumped around here by Mike Wheaton in the 35, and those front runners charging through the pack. Here's the story as it unfolds with Ralph Nation and Junior Hanley.
Well, this is what makes it very interesting, watching those high-point drivers come from the rear week after week after week. Oh, man! This is short track racing, folks.
Is it ever?
Not ballet, and that will be happening all afternoon long as these high-point drivers try and slash their way out of the back.
It's a very deceiving kind of a racetrack, Dave. Now here's Kip Stockwell, makes that move finally on Harrison, who gets hung out to dry up on the loose stuff. His car is really loose. He almost got into late, and he almost collected the page as well.
Ricky Harrison has got a very ferocious race car underneath him right now. He's done yeoman work just to keep the car pointed in the right direction. Here's the battle back in the field. Mike Wheaton, car number 35, back on the GM Goodwrench Tour for the first time in 8 years, has already got himself a main event win. And right now, he's got the better of Junior Hanley as they slide to the inside of Ricky Harrison.
Who says take it easy out here? He had a bad. Now we got a big spin here with Tracy Gordon in the 17 and Pete Shepard in the 79. They go around. The overheating we talked about beginning of the race. The little guys are coming out of Shepard's car.
No doubt about it that car is badly overheating. May have played a role in the skirmish as they hit turn 1. Tracy Gordon, the rookie, Pete Shepard, who was looking forward to a pretty good weekend here on 2 racetracks that he's fairly familiar with.
His main claim to fame, as you know, is the crew chief on the Bill Zardo Sr. automobile, but he's out here when he can run. David Whitlock, Danny Knoll Jr., Kip Stockwell, Brad Layton, Kevin LePage, still early in the going, Dave.
Long way to go in this one, and as I mentioned at the start, Eric, this is the time when these race drivers really suffer. The temperatures in these automobiles, 165, 170 degrees or more, and right now they've got time to think about just how uncomfortable they are.
Junior Hanley back to try and make it 3 championships in a row, 10 Tour wins last year. He's already won 3 of the first 5 shows.
Let's go trackside and chat with Derek Lynch.
Derek Lynch, Eric Thomas, Raceline. Do you read?
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Derek, in the preliminaries earlier this weekend, you were fighting a loose condition, but man, oh man, there's a lot of cars out there running pretty loose. Is it just a question of a pretty slippery racetrack?
Track's a little greasy right now, Eric. As a matter of fact, our car's kind of switched. I'm a little bit tight getting off the turns now, so we're going to have to try and live with that.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, it doesn't act like he's suffering too badly because he's got a halfway decent race car and a pretty good start on the grid as he'll go on the outside of row 3.
Norwood, Ontario pilot relocating to Fairfax, Vermont to lock in with the nucleus of the old Pard Brothers team that was behind Robbie Crouch last year. And he hopes to do a little bit better this year. His 5th season on the GM Goodwrench Tour, still looking for that first career win.
Pace car coming in on the back straightaway. The two youngsters ready to square off. Dave Whitlock in the 92, Danny Knoll Jr. in the 6. Kip Stockwell, Brad Layton looking for room right behind. Big jump for Whitlock. Drives away and they scramble in the back. Mike Wheaton is dirt tracking it literally through the infield. Keeps it pointed, but the folks behind him are tangled up and we're under yellow.
Close quarters out here. When Wheaton got into trouble, it set up a pretty nasty looking chain reaction out here.
Matt Bosowski, Ricky Harrison, Lloyd Ritchie, Pete Shepard, just some of the cars involved. No one appears to be seriously damaged. A little bit of debris on the track. They'll get things cleared up and we'll be set to go back to green.
Back with more of the Sauble Beach 100 from Sauble Speedway and Raceline in a moment.
Plenty of damage on the 40 car of Phil Zardo Jr. Took a good hit on the front right-hand corner. You can see the overflow for the radiator. They're going to put some water in it to try and keep that car cool, but a lot of front-end damage. For now, most of it looks strictly cosmetic, but they got to be worried about the cooling problems with this car. It's extremely warm this afternoon. It's still a long afternoon yet to go.
He's not the only guy out here fighting these temperatures. I don't think that hose has been turned off at all. They're really, really fighting to keep these cars cool.
Well, while the Bill Zardo Jr. team plays rip and strip on the fiberglass, let's go to some pit stops of a more calculated nature. The Goodwrench Service Plus pit stop competition held earlier today. We'll take a look at the top 4 finishers in the first of a season-long competition.
Brad Layton from Center Harbor, New Hampshire in the GM Goodwrench Tour show car, and they spring into action here.
Very equal playing field. Everybody uses the same car, the same tools, the same tires and jacks. Let's see what they can do. This is a veteran team out of Center Harbor, New Hampshire, the Gardner-Levitt crew, and they set the standard for the day. Their fast time held up for a good long period.
What kind of pit stops you looking at on average time-wise here, Dave?
Well, these drivers will do it anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds, depending on their luck, but they have to be more than quick. They have to be good as well, because there are penalties for loose lug nuts, running over air hoses, any number of other violations. This is the Derek Lynch OnSat team. First time this crew really has worked together in 1992 in the pit stop series, but as usual, they turn in a good one.
All right, we're familiar with this man, Junior Hanley. Pulls it into a stop, and the crew springs into service here.
Now, the times are being calculated from the time the car enters the pit at one end until the time it leaves from another, so it probably adds 2 or 3 seconds to the total time, but nonetheless, these teams are turning in some very competitive pit stops.
Looks like a good one for Hanley. Let's see what Donald Forte's people can do. $500 to win this. In this round, a total purse of $1,000 and a big payday in the finals.
Indeed. This Isolon team, really the unheralded crew. They have not been heard from in the past in the GM Goodwrench Tour pit stop competition, but they were heard from here today as they came through in the final pit stop of the day, unseated, the Brad Layton Ferox Norton Industries team, and the Don Forte crew from Laval, Quebec comes through with their first ever win in the pit stop series.
One of the reasons you have a pit stop competition is to emphasize Jean-Paul Cabana, Donald Forte's tutor there. Here's a look at the standings. You've got to have great crews to be successful at short track stock car racing. That's why they have these contests, right?
At this level, there's no doubt about it. Now, hopefully today, the crew has seen the last of their driver for the afternoon. They hope so, but it's not always that way.
Let's have a little Raceline trivia here, brought to you by Performance Racing News, North America's Motorsport Authority. Who won the American Canadian Tour's only previous stop at Sauble? It was in '89. Was it Zardo Sr., Paul Richardson, or Russ Erlin, Dave Moody? What do you think?
A good long time ago. Have to dig back through the memory banks for that one. We'll have the answer a little bit later on.
Blow the dust off the archives, see if we can't find the answer. All right, David Whitlock in an impressive charge off the start here in the Sauble Beach 100, a very hot and sticky day at Sauble Speedway. Ready for the restart here. Keep your eyes on the pace car. Come down on the grass. Dave, can Whitlock hang on to this thing? The car's running superbly.
I think he can, despite the fact that they've really had to jerry-rig the machine back together again on little or no sleep. He's been on a line all afternoon long. Let's see what he can do with Danny Knoll Jr. Green is out. Knoll gets a momentary jump into turn 1, but that inside line is a huge advantage. Away goes David Whitlock, and here comes Brad Layton storming the inside for second.
But I want to tell you something. Off the start, and he did it again a couple of seconds later, a punch to the ribs from Danny Knoll Jr. on David Whitlock, and he didn't even flinch. Now look at the order's been changed here. Here comes Brad Layton. 8 top 5 finishes on the tour last year for Bradley. He is on the verge of stardom in this tour.
He certainly is. He's had a bit of a rough start to 1993, but he turned things around a couple of weeks ago in Vermont with a spectacular last lap 3-wide pass. the monkey's off his back. The Ferox team running very strongly here today.
Had a lot of fiberglass damage due to the conflagration at Flamborough Speedway 2 nights ago, but the crew's done a great job to get that car looking top-notch for today.
Here's the look out the back of the Brad Layton automobile. There's the Danny Knoll Jr. machine. You can see some contact's been made there already. Danny Knoll running close quarters on the back bumper of Brad Layton's Buick.
Track is staying nice and clean. We had some debris swept off it before, but that was from the wreck. But the track, despite the temperature, doesn't appear to be getting overly sweaty.
So far, so good as far as the drivers are concerned. And you can see it is just this close right now. Danny Knoll Jr. putting the heat on Layton, feeling the heat at the same time. Coming up the outside, it's Kevin LePage in the 21.
Kevin LePage out of Shelburne, Vermont. The DF Windows, Allen Lumber, Ford Thunderbird. 6th in points last year, making the charge from the front. Dave, right off the start of the tour this year, LePage has been quick.
He has indeed. And this is an interesting shot, Eric, because from... Whoops.
Hang on.
As I was saying, from the grandstand, it may look like one driver pulls up and just drives around another. But in that shot, you can see progress is made inch by inch by inch, a little bit more every corner. But Kevin LePage is turning the inches into miles right now as he moves around the Danny Knoll Jr. machine, moves around Brad Layton, and we've got a new second-place automobile.
Kevin LePage, car number 21, puts the chase on David Whitlock in the 92. Brad Layton in the 1X is hanging on as well. And Danny Knoll Jr., despite knocking some people around here, is doing a good job as well.
Danny's had one of his best starts of the 1993 season so far. No doubt he's got a good automobile. That one carried Junior Hanley to the GM Goodwrench Tour title 1 year ago. So you know the car will get around.
He's hoping there are some wins left in that chassis. You know that.
We've got a battle shaping up at the front. Kevin LePage on a tear from deep in the pack is on the march. He started back on the outside of row 5, but right now, Davey Whitlock, the only man between LePage and the point.
Whitlock, a 3-year competitor with Cascar, was their champion in 1991. He's getting better and better all the time. He really loves tracks this small, and he's showing it right now.
Another man coming out of the back, 72, Junior Hanley.
Oh, really?
Hanley's new car going to the outside of Hanley's old car. That's a battle for 4th, and things getting even tighter at the front. Dave Whitlock, the cakewalk is over. He's in a battle now.
You know, one of the things we talk about, the domination of Junior Hanley, his crew has to put in long hours along with Junior to work on that car just to stay that step ahead. They had a vibration in the car 2 nights ago at Flamborough, took it all the way back to Campbellville. That's a 3-hour drive to get that vibration solved, and so far, nothing vibrating in the 72. He's right up here.
Well, you need an incredible level of commitment to race competitively on the GM Goodwrench Tour, but Junior Hanley really is the most committed of all. He'll do whatever it takes, from completely rebuilding the car in the back of the trailer overnight. If that's what needs to be done, Junior will do it.
Doesn't matter. They throw the clock away to work on this car. Now look at these two guys coming right at you, going to stand on your toes.
Junior had it a little bit sideways coming off turn 2 that time. Danny Knoll keeps the hole filled downstairs. Brad Layton, trying to hold them both off, is going to get a little help here from the lap car of Rainy LaLumiere.
Junior looking out to his left at the car that he ran last year, and Danny Knoll hanging up there as the Lumiere tries to drop it down to the low groove to let these guys get by.
They'll kick it out single file, and Junior Hanley gets a solo shot at the number 4 position. And not long from now, I expect he's going to go to the outside of Brad Layton for 3rd.
Junior Hanley putting the pressure on Brad Layton. Layton finished 5th in GM Goodwrench Tour points last year. Junior Hanley, as we said off the top of the show, going for a 3rd consecutive points title. Kicks it down to the low side, has a peek on the inside of Layton.
Junior Hanley just kind of threw the dummy to the high side of Brad Layton. Layton moved up to try and throw a block, and Hanley was underneath him in a heartbeat. These are 2 drivers, Eric, from opposite ends of the spectrum. Junior Hanley, well-established credential-wise, 30 years of racing, known to just about everybody. Brad Layton, a youngster out of the short tracks of New Hampshire and Maine, in only his 3rd year on the GM Goodwrench Tour, but right now the veteran has the advantage.
Just that little patented Hanley stutter start in the middle of the turn, just sort of gets the brakes in nice and deep, then kicks the car around a little degree angle turn, and he took care of Brad Layton in the 1X. You notice, though, when he was battling with Brad Layton there, no contact between the cars. He runs quick, he runs strong, and he rarely touches anybody.
Well, both of those drivers are that way. Neither Junior Hanley nor Brad Layton is renowned for using up a lot of sheet metal and fiberglass getting to the front. Here's the battle. It's shaping up for 2nd place. Hanley on the back bumper of Kevin LePage, and let's give another call to Dave Whitlock, who's pulled away to take the lead again. Hanley down to the inside, goes to the number 2 spot.
Oh, yes. Junior Hanley takes care of Kevin LePage down the back stretch. Junior's car is handling handling as well now as it did at the very beginning of the race. Another secret to his success.
And I guarantee the Motorcraft team is on the radio to Dave Whitlock saying, if you've got anything left, let's see it, buddy, because, whoa, look at that. The 84 car is down into the infield. A very close call for Jeff Ross. A little bit of debris on the racetrack, but, well, not anymore. Somebody runs it over and kicks it off over the wall.
See some of the fiberglass damage on the Tracy Gordon, number 17. No yellow here. And the two guys up front, Junior Henley's going to go for the lead. And there he goes. He takes over the point.
Dave Whitlock left the door open, just a sliver going around the lap car. Junior Henley had all the room he needed. Moved through on the inside, and he's got the lead.
You were saying the crew on the radio to Whitlock saying, get going, keep pedaling, keep pedaling. Well, he just put his foot off the pedal for a split second, and that is loads of time for Henley to get by.
Well, now the challenge for David Whitlock is not to get demoralized.
That's right.
He was out in front, I'm sure starting to think at least about his first career Goodwrench Tour win. Now he's still got a good run going. He's going to have to catch Junior Henley to win it, but he's still got a possibility for a very good day.
Hope you're picking out your favorite driver here on the GM Goodwrench Tour on our halfway update. It's a look at Beaver Dragon. New color scheme for the Beaver this year, and there's Steve Knowlton out of Ipswich, Massachusetts, former Rookie of the Year in car number 88X.
About the only thing that's the same for Beaver Dragon is the name and the number this year. He's
well.
got a new car owner, a new sponsor, a new team, and the Dragon running very, very well as usual at the front.
Well, he was working on a new car for this year too, but he says, no, this is the old roller skate, and that chassis is about 9 years old.
This chassis has been around a long, long time. This came out of the Butch Miller shops up in Michigan, was the scourge of the Northeast and the Midwest for a couple of years. It was bought by the team that eventually, took over Beaver Dragon's ride, and it's still getting the job done as Lloyd Ritchie takes it to the infield.
Orange Blossom Special goes all the way around, and this time it is going to bring out the yellow. We're going to slow it down. Not too many yellows here this afternoon, Dave.
Well, it's been fairly clean, especially considering the tight configuration of this racetrack. We've seen plenty of bump and grind. You look at the bodies on these cars, you can see that there's been some contact. Here's Ralph Nason coming in. There's definitely been some contact there.
This is the Lumina, the Mopar fancy left the Dodge Intrepid at home, and there's that cooling problem we talked about. Just get the water in the engine somehow to cool this thing down.
Yeah, nothing subtle here. They're just dumping the liquid onto it, trying to get the thing to stop overheating.
Let's go to John.
They're going to solve some of the problems of overheating for Ralph Nason now as they trim the fenders off. They're going to take those off and trying to get more air into the radiator. Of course, the weather this afternoon is not conducive to regular water temperature, so to speak, so these guys are just going to make things a whole lot easier, and you can see that just tearing the fiberglass off, not the gentlest way, but it's probably pretty efficient way to do it.
Eric, you'd think that after knocking half the body off, the car would run cooler, but actually the opposite is true, because all the ductwork and shrouding that's so carefully built into these cars to guide air to the radiator, it's all trash. No air getting home.
Just can't let that stuff hang off there. You got to get it off. Now, the answer to Performance Racing News Trivia, the winner of the only stop at Sauble. What do you think, A, B, or C?
It's B. Paul Richardson of Georgetown, Massachusetts, won the Holiday Twin 49s at Sauble back in 1989.
Doesn't run the tour anymore, but he is active locally, is he not?
He is indeed in southern New England, driving pro stocks and super modifieds. Pace car set to come in momentarily. It's Junior Henley, then the lapped car of Matt Bosowski. The big question right now, Eric, is Kevin LePage. He has come out of the back just as quickly as Junior Henley. We'll see if the 21 has anything for the defending Tour champion.
Didn't have much repair to do after that wreckage at Flamborough. As the pace car brings him in, RPMs come up, the feet go down. Here comes the green flag from John Holbert, and another great jackrabbit start for Junior Henley. Man, does he do that well.
When Junior Henley hits the pedal on the right, that car jumps off the line quicker than anybody else on the GM Goodwrench Tour. As a result, Henley's got himself a couple of car lengths in hand in turn number 4. Kevin LePage is second, then the lap car of Matt Bosowski. Third now is Danny Knoll Jr., Kim Stockwell up to 4th, followed by Brad Layton and the 27 of Kim Wallace.
Only guy running up there, even he has not escaped some damage here. Junior Henley with the hood pushed up just a little bit, running up front and running clean.
Now this is Junior Henley's time of the race. He has gotten to the front very quickly, not without a little cosmetic damage, but bottom line, he is at the front. He's legging it out right now, and it's not a good sign for the rest of the teams, because most of the time when Henley loses, it's because somebody gets out ahead of him, not because he gets run down.
Look out the rear, number 21, Kevin LePage ride, and our Aerofoil Wiper Blade Sony onboard handycam here. You can see they've got themselves distanced out from the back of the pack, but in beyond, they're all tightly packed together still.
You can see things have begun to fall into single file here. This Sauble Speedway track surface, very rough down on the inside. The asphalt fairly worn, fairly abrasive. The tires definitely are beginning to go away on these cars. You're going to see a lot more people trying to work that inside line, as does Brad Layton out of turn 4, looking to the inside of Kip Stockwell.
Oh, some problems here in the turn. Everybody gets all the way around here. Mike Wheaton in the 35. Zardo Jr., the 88 of Steve Knowlton, Derek Lynch in the 15, has got some damage. What triggered this, Dave?
Well, it looked like Danny Knoll Jr. in car number 6 came down on the lap car of Matt Bosowski. Knoll apparently thought he had the slower car cleared going into turn 1. That wasn't the case. They came together, and as usual, it's the guys coming along behind that pay the heavy price.
Oh, they do in a track of only a quarter mile in distance. And when everybody is so tightly packed together, just one guy getting out of shape can trigger all kinds of things. Let's have another look at this right now.
Here's the view out of the Brad Layton car. He made it through, but not without a good little push from the Kim Wallace machine. Severe cosmetic damage on the 27 car.
More from Sauble Beach on Raceline in a moment.
Under caution at Sauble Speedway, Sauble Beach, Ontario. Eric, let's go down trackside.
Zardo Sr., Eric Thomas, Raceline. Do you read?
Yeah, I read you, Eric.
Bill, I think we've come to the conclusion that we're working with a pretty slippery racetrack here. How is the car mechanically? I would imagine maybe overheating is a concern. What's the situation from your cockpit there?
Yeah, right now my car's running about 240, but I'm more concerned about my oil temperature right now. It's up to 280, and it's not normal for it to do that.
You know, the guys are really fighting the temperatures. John Massingbird is in the pits.
1985 Rookie of the Year, Mike Wheaton, just coming off the hook. Here's a guy that started in the middle of the pack with high hopes for today, but obviously involved in the thick of this spin. Mike's got it fired up. He's had both right side tires changed, so he'll go back in, but obviously a lot of front end damage, bodywork and cosmetics, not looking what they should this afternoon.
Well, Eric, that's a smart move by the Mike Wheaton team. If you're forced to the pits, you might as well put on some new right side sneakers. Let's get another look. This is out of the back of the Kim Wallace car. He's just piled into Brad Layton.
Oh, hang on.
And you can see Mike Wheaton was just the odd man out of that one.
You've heard racers, even fans proclaim, racing is in my blood. I could never turn my back on it. When you consider GM Goodwrench Tour sophomore Kip Stockwell of Randolph, Vermont, still only 19, was taken to his very first race when he was only a month old, it's easy to understand his deep affection for this sport. The driver of the Randolph Auto Supply Stockwell Garage Buick has a racing heritage that spans 2 generations. His grandfather, Al Corey, ran the old coupes, and Kip's dad, Lenny the Tiger Stockwell, tore up New England tracks in the 70s.
My father got me started to start with. My grandfather has helped me out financially a little bit. He's given me a lot of pointers on how to drive, and my father is really the one that helped me out the most. My mom had a lot to do with it too, but my father has really helped me out a lot.
Stockwell got started in go-karts at age 7. He shot through the ranks, graduating to street stocks, late model sportsman, and now the GM Goodwrench Tour. It didn't take Stockwell long to show the Tour veterans he had plenty of potential. Boosted by a 10th at San Air last season, Kip placed a strong 3rd in rookie points, and he took home the coveted Ricky Crouch Rookie Award.
Sonapa Racing had a bad year to start. We finished out on a good note. We learned a lot. The car came into it at the end of the year, and we just learned a lot last year for what we were doing.
They say that it's important to have heroes, people that you admire and look up to. Well, in Kip Stockwell's case, he shares car numbers with New England short track legend Stub Fadden.
He gave me a chance in racing. He helped me out the first part of my racing career when I was 6 or 7, and I've always been around racing, and he's the guy that really gave me a chance and talked to me, and I got my number from him because he was my hero, and he was the guy that gave me the chance in racing.
As a 19-year-old, Kip Stockwell possesses something most rookies don't have, and that's patience. And as a rookie, he ran clean, but he ran hard, he stayed out of the way, and he didn't get greedy. With that, he has earned the respect of Tour veterans, some almost twice his age. The exciting aspect of this story, Kip is already competitive, and he will get better with age. So we can look forward to at least another 20-plus years of improvement.
Kip Stockwell, one of racing's colorful people. Brought to you by Kodak.
We remain under caution here at Sauble Speedway as the result of an incident in turn number 1. Let's go back down to the track, check in with the other half of the Z team, Bill Jr.
Zardo Jr., Eric Thomas, Raceline. Do you read?
Yeah, I got a copy.
You got yourself a pretty ripped-up race car there. What's the situation? No tracking problems in the corner?
Somebody lost the brake rotor, and everybody just got spinning all over the place. Just nowhere nobody could go. Everybody was all bunched up.
But how's the car handling, Billy? It looks pretty severe damage-wise. Mostly just fiberglass?
Yeah, mostly fiberglass. I think I might have a bent ball joint. The steering's a little tight.
So while Bill Zardo Jr. soldiers on, it continues to be Junior Hanley at the front of the pack, followed by Kim Wallace and young Kip Stockwell having easily his best outing of the year.
Oh, yes, and Kim Wallace is doing a mighty fine job there. But the chase is on with Junior Hanley. Here comes the green flag, and the Sauble Beach 100 is back underway. Another one of those patented Hanley starts by the looks of it, Dave.
Well, that was thoroughly no contest.
Yes.
Hanley the leader against the lap car of Matt Bosowski. The race will be for second on back. Kim Wallace on the inside in the 27. Now has trapped young Kip Stockwell out in no man's land. On the outside, Wallace will move underneath. Stockwell will do very well to get back in line in third or fourth. Won't do it. Zardo moves under. Dragon moves under. So long to the kid. Kip Stockwell trapped up high.
Oh, yeah, he hung out to dry there. I want to tell you something. The way that Kim Wallace sits himself in that number 27, with that hood buckled up like that, it is tough for him to see. I can count on that right now.
Here's the look out the back of the Kim Wallace car. A good deal clearer than looking out the other way. It's right behind him is Bill Zardo. What a weekend it would be for the Z-Man if he could double up here today, but he's still got a lot of racing to do to get to the front.
Just picked up his first career GM Goodwrench Tour win 2 nights ago at Flamborough. He was talking about water temperature. There's the little geyser coming out of that overflow pipe. They put it up there at the windshield so they can actually see that rat is boiling over.
I think probably if you looked at the little water pipe on every one of these cars, you'd see some steam coming out. Kim Wallace, you have to wonder what kind of shape he's in, Eric. This is his first start of the year on the GM Goodwrench Tour. It is a brutally hot day outside the cars and especially inside. This is a tough racetrack. Kim Wallace, I gotta believe, is not going to be quite as strong down the stretch as Zardo and Dragon.
He had no roll-up yesterday either. He just brought the car up on the trailer today, rolled it off, and stuck it out here. He's doing all right, but the pressure is on from Zardo Sr., the 1992 GM Goodwrench Tour Rookie of the Year. Kim Wallace out of Peterborough, not going to run full-time on the tour, but he's doing a nice job here.
His car beginning to push a little bit in the corners, which means it won't quite stay on the bottom of the track. He turns it left, but the car is not cooperating. Zardo is all over him right now as they move up on the lap car of Matt Bosowski.
You know he is wrestling with that thing like a grizzly bear. That car is pushing like you say, and it appears that it is. Now let's get back here. Look at this fight between Beaver Dragon and the 75 and the 21 of Kevin LePage.
Now you might wonder what happened to Kevin LePage. He was running second not long ago. Well, indeed he was, but apparently he was not happy with his race car. He took it to the pits, changed right side tires. He's come all the way from the back of the pack to challenge once again. This is the battle going on for 4th and 5th.
Talking to Beaver Dragon in the pits, there is one plan of attack this year. Get back up to the middle position on the podium. 21 career tour wins, but none of them last year.
It's been a while for the Beaver. One of the winningest drivers in his home state of Vermont. One of the all-time greats on the GM Goodwrench Tour. Series champion in 79 and 80. But it's been a bit of a dry spell for the Beav. He'd like to break that here today.
And LePage 21 going by the main grandstand. Good crowd on hand, but boy, I tell you what, the sunblock has been in long supply out here. It is a hot, sticky day at Sauble.
I'd like the beach oil concession here today because there will be some sunburns taken home. Kim Wallace down the back straightaway holds his spot ahead of Bill Zardo in the 46, 75, Harmon Beaver Dragon, then Kevin LePage. That's a 4-man battle right now.
Out of your screen, but up front and running in the lead, Junior Hanley going for his 4th tour win. There he is, car number 72.
Hanley a full straightaway ahead. He is threatening to enter another area code right now in the Molson X machine. Hanley thoroughly dominant, got out in front early, and so far has just been able to keep the margin as big as he wants it to be.
Zardo Sr. has the quicker car, as you see Steve Knowlton in the 88X limping along the bottom groove there. He's got the quicker car, but he's just going to make sure that Wallace doesn't get out of shape here because he could easily get collected if he tries to get by and Wallace gets into trouble.
Kim Wallace just about threw it away.
Exactly.
Does a little bit of dirt tracking and hangs onto it. Now, For Bill Zardo, that's like blood in the water for a shark.
Yep.
Zardo can see that the Wallace car is beginning to go away on a Beaver Dragon goes very high out of turn 4. He'll drop a couple of spots as now the Dragon Wagon beginning to struggle. As we said, Eric, the tires are really coming apart here in the late
They
stages.
really are, and there is Zardo Jr. out of Brampton, the Triple M Metal Chevrolet. He has got overheating problems. He's got all that front end damage. He doesn't think that there's anything other than fiberglass, but he spun it off there, so the steering problem they talked about may be in evidence right here.
Green flag remains on the field as Zardo is able to refire it, and around goes Wallace and Bill Sr. So Bill Jr. Serves as a pick momentarily for Kim Wallace, helping to hold his dad off on the back straightaway.
Yellow is going to come out here. They're going to slow it down. Kim Wallace with his hand out the window trying to funnel some cool air in there, but it is really, really hot in the cars and as well with the radiators. See that steam coming out of Zardo Sr.'s car getting higher and higher all the time.
And Bill Zardo is taking it on pit road. The 46 machine ducked right off the top of turn 2, took it to the pits, and I've got to believe, Eric, that's a byproduct of those heating problems he talked about a few minutes ago.
He said the gauge was up in the danger area, and no doubt he's going to try and cool that thing down if he can, but man, is it ever overheating.
Let's go to the radio.
Kim Wallace, Eric Thomas, Raceline. Do you read?
Yeah, we do, Eric. Go ahead.
Not too many laps ago, Mr. Wallace, you said you didn't know if you had the car to catch Junior. Well, now you're in the position where you're really going to have to put that to the test.
Well, Eric, I wish I was a little bit more positive about that. We're going to give it the best we can, but the problem I got right now is I got some bent steering, and I'm finding it real hard to see out the front of the car, which could make it dangerous for myself and certainly other drivers.
Thanks, Kim.
Well, a very delicate situation, to say the least, for Kim Wallace. Let's go back down trackside, check in once again with Bill Zardo Sr.
Zardo Sr., Eric Thomas, Raceline. Do you read?
Yeah, I read, yeah.
We were watching the steam coming out of the overflow pipe. You went into the pits to get some emergency water. What's your temperature like now?
My temperature's down, but I think I broke a rocker. I'm only running on 7 cylinders.
Tough break for you, Bill. You were running so well up in the top 3.
Yeah, well, things like that happen sometimes. That's all in racing.
Well, and now you know why Bill Zardo was so anxious about that oil temperature.
That's right.
Eric. You cannot run at that kind of temperature for very long before things start to fail.
And then once that cylinder fails, it starts getting even hotter, and it's just going to feed off each other. And Zardo Sr. is, as you say, soldiering on here, but the temperature taking its toll. Pace car pulls into the infield. Junior Hanley out of Campbellville, Ontario, the defending champion, brings the field down turn number 4, and we're back underway under green.
Here's an opportunity for Kevin LePage, but Kim Wallace shuts the door on him in a hurry. Takes it from the outside to the inside. LePage back down low again. The challenge is on for second. Wallace topside. LePage gets into him, and they are dirt tracking it. What a great piece of driving by Kim Wallace. Hangs onto the car, hangs on to second.
Kevin LePage may have closed his eyes and said, "Oh, sorry, Kim." But Wallace did a magnificent job. You're right to collect that car. I thought he was going all the way around for sure.
Well, that was one of those pivotal moments in the race for Kim Wallace and Kevin LePage.
Oh, good pun.
Wallace had to bring it down to the inside or he was going to lose second place. LePage stuck it in there and tried to make it stick, but it didn't happen. A good save by both drivers.
Out of the rear here, looking at the 21 of Kevin LePage and Beaver Dragon behind him, and the Shearer Citgo Chevrolet Lumina car number 75. They're all trying to catch Junior Hanley.
Well, I'm not even sure if they're trying to catch him at this point because Hanley just walks away on every restart. Probably, to be honest, Kim Wallace would tell you he'd be very happy with second, but I don't know if he's going to get it. There's LePage shooting down to the inside, but again, Wallace with the horsepower holds him off.
LePage is so quick with his reaction. He saw that opening, he went for it, the opening was there, and then the turn happened, and he had to back out of it.
Well, they say with these GM Goodwrench Tour automobiles, the reactions are so fast that by the time you see the hole and make a decision, it's usually gone.
Exactly.
And you have to work on instinct, and that's where a veteran like Kevin LePage has a big, big advantage because he's in that hole before he realizes that it's there.
Saw Blake of Brad Layton in the 1X fighting to stay up here in the top 5. Here is your leader. Molson X Quaker State Ford Thunderbird of Junior Hanley. Down the backstretch, clicking off these laps.
Clicking them off one by one. He has been virtually without challenge since about the midway mark of the race, Eric. And that's good news for Hanley on 2 fronts. First of all, he's not having to race real hard. Second of all, he can run a little slower, take care of those tires, not abuse his race car in case somebody does appear out of the pack with a challenge late.
Well, we asked him if he got rid of that vibration that he had in the event at Flamborough, and he said, yeah, I think so. quite obviously, whatever it was there is totally gone now. The car is running like a watch up front. And here's Kim Wallace in the 27, Kevin LePage in the 21, Beaver Dragon in the 75. This is a great fight right here. And don't forget Brad Layton in the 1X.
I must say, Eric, we questioned the physical wellness of Kim Wallace in his first race of the year under torturous conditions, but he has been very strong. The race car isn't 100%, but it looks like Kim Wallace is about 110 to make up for it.
Well, I know the GM Goodwrench Tour president Tom Curley said, bring lots of plastic when you come down to this tour in Ontario. And you're seeing it there with John Holbrook's white flag. The plastic is really peeling off here. Beaver Dragon with damage, Brad Layton with damage. There's even damage on Junior Hanley, but he's just a couple of seconds away here from another victory.
Junior can get out and push it home from here. On his way to another checkered flag, Junior Hanley wins the Sauble Beach 100 in impressive fashion this afternoon as he is virtually untouched over the second half of the event.
Fourth victory in 1993 on the GM Goodwrench Tour for the man looking for his third consecutive points title, Junior Hanley out of Campbellville, Ontario, car number 72.
Kim Wallace comes home with a well-deserved second, followed by LePage, Dragon, and Brad Layton in the 1X. Danny Knoll fades back to the number 6 spot. Lynch, Zardo, Whedon, and another top 10 for young Kip Stockwell.
Great run by the sophomore driver, Junior Hanley, with the honorary victory lap. And we're back to talk with the winner from Sauble Speedway on Raceline in a moment. Eric Thomas, Dave Moody, John Massingbird, Sauble Speedway, and another win for Junior Hanley.
Well, they claim that the short track might be an equalizer for the rest of the guys out here running with Junior, but Junior coming out of the middle of the pack. It's been a hot afternoon and a great run for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. This car just run perfect all day. Wasn't running too good yesterday, and it didn't run very good Friday night, but we got in a real bad wreck last week, and we had a lot of bent stuff. I never found it all until last night, and come back today, and the car felt really good.
Junior, it got pretty physical out there in the afternoon. Any concerns about the heat? A lot of guys got put back into the pit area, had to pour lots of water over the rad to keep these things cool, but any concerns for you?
No, the car run really good, cool. It run a little hot the other night. We got the ductwork bent and stuff up, but today it run really cool, and I wasn't really hot because the car was working so good.
Well, congratulations, Junior Hanley. 5th win of the year for Junior Hanley, the Sauble Beach 100.
He had to take the car all the way back to the shop to thrash around and find the problem, but he found it and himself in victory lane. Great drive for second place. Standing by, Kim Wallace with John Massingbird.
Well, Kim Wallace certainly hasn't lost any of the rookie touch, if you can even call it that. Kim, you started way back, 25th position, but a second place run today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, John. The Flexmore Trucking Chevrolet was just working superb, and unfortunately, about 3/4 of the way through the race, we got bent up a little bit in the steering, and of course, as you can see here, the car is blocking my view, so it was kind of an iffy situation for a while whether I should pit or not, and I didn't want to cause myself any harm, and certainly didn't want to cause any other drivers any harm out there, and the view was not good, and we hung in there.
Your crew chief, your dad, Gord Wallace, what was he telling you out there about those concerns of yours with the hood and everything else? Just go for it?
Them guys, I'm telling you, were super. Robbie Thompson, a former ASA runner, and my dad, my crew chief, they called the shots, especially once I got bent up in the front with the hood blocking my vision and that. And man, I'll tell you something, it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have finished second.
Well, you pedaled well today, Kim. A good run this afternoon.
Thank you very much, John.
And Eric, you could see that Kim Wallace is one tired puppy after crawling out from behind the wheel.
Time now for the Revell Monogram Performer of the Race. Kim Wallace, a magnificent job off the trailer today. Survives the heat, a damaged automobile, and look where he shows up in second place.
Third place man today, Kevin LePage. John?
Well, it's going to be up close and personal with Kevin LePage. Well, I'll tell you what, man, this is a long, hot afternoon, wasn't it?
I'll tell you, it's been a while since I raced in weather like this, and, I'm about 10 years younger than these guys out here, and some of them are 20 years older than I am, and I'll tell you, I look worse than they do. But, we struggled early. We gambled. We got up front. We got the second. Car went away on us. We stayed out there a little longer than I wanted. I really was worried that I was going to kill myself trying to fight a ill-handling race car, and that's what I did. When we came in, we changed tires, and the car was there. Just Kevin wasn't there, and the DF windows, Allen Lumber car. I mean, it really was good all weekend. We had a bad day at Flamborough. We got in an early wreck. The crew worked all day yesterday. They did a super job.
That's what short track racing's all about. It gets a little physical sometimes, and it means a lot of work, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And fortunate enough, we had good weather to work in. It was just a little bit too good for the guys. They were all whipped last night. We were all whipped, and you know, it proves today that if you have a good working team and everybody works together under any kind of circumstances, either a tore-up race car, a good race car, rainy weather or good weather, you know, you can always put a good finish together, and we came all the way up here, and that's what our game plan was.
Well, congratulations, Kevin. A good third-place finish today.
Thank you very much.
Dave Moody, we've changed into our dry land uniforms. A hot day here at Sauble Speedway, but a masterful performance on the best dry land stock car racer when it comes to short tracks, Junior Hanley.
He's the best around, and give some credit to the crew. Like so many here this weekend, they spent a lot of late hours in the shop getting this car back together after a rough night at Flamborough, but they did their job well. To coin a really bad pun, Eric, for everybody chasing him today, life's a beach.
Yeah, that pretty well says it all. That's going to do it from Sauble Speedway. On behalf of John Massingbird and Dave Moody, I'm Eric Thomas, and we'll talk to you next time on Raceline. Racing radio is provided by New Venture Communications, London, Ontario. In-car and wall cameras supplied by Sony Canada, makers of the Sony Handycam. While in Sauble Beach, the staff and crew of Raceline stay at the Knights Inn.
Raceline has been brought to you by new Kodak Gold Ultra 400 film for all your Kodak moments. Your GM Goodwrench Service Plus dealers, where your oil change is ready in 27 minutes or your next one is free. Revell Monogram, the world's model maker. And Aerofoil wiper blades, the leading edge in wiper technology.